The natural versus enhanced feud, let's call it that. So most recently, I'm sure you guys have all seen this, Jeff Nippard was assaulted. Weird. I don't think that that's ever appropriate. I've never understood this about these big tough guys that, lift weights and stuff. It doesn't make sense to me. But what do I know? I mean, I used to fight people in cages, right? Mind you, that's a sport. There's a difference there. In fact, actually, that's something interesting too. But, it's funny to me. I don't think people realize how many times guys are actually just selling a fight. Because at like the amateur level, I remember having a really nice conversation with this guy, and then we fought. It was a boxing match, and he just absolutely demolished me. And afterwards, we both sat down and talked and shook hands, and we're sitting in the locker room afterwards, and he's like, dude, he's like, I gotta tell you, he's like, I've never been hit so hard. He's like, I mean, granted, I won, but like you have some heavy hands. Like when you land punches, like they really hurt. And, that was his way of kind of complimenting me. And who knows if it was true or not, or if he was just saying something nice. But it's an interesting thing. So, guys who actually fight tend to be really nice people. Here we go back to the natural versus enhanced thing, though. It seems that, certain people, and, don't need you to name this person because you already know who we're talking about, are very angry. They're very, very angry. And I find that weird. Here you are, this big juiced up guy calling a guy who's drug free small. Well, yes, of course he's small, and he should be smaller than you. And you're calling him weak because he's weaker than you. And like, this is the kind of stuff that doesn't make sense to me. And I've had personal experience with this. I've had, guys who are very clearly juiced up calling me small. And I'm like, okay, how big am I supposed to be? And they're like, well, I'm the same height as you, and I'm 265 pounds. And it's like, yeah, but you're on tren and all kinds of other shit. I'm not. And granted, I'm not big. I don't pretend to be big. I'm not even a natural bodybuilder or something. I'm not a bodybuilder. Okay? But currently I sit at 158 pounds. Sometimes I've been as heavy as 165, right? And I'm talking about actually being lean and in shape, not talking about my heaviest. At my heaviest, I was 236 pounds, but I was fat. When I'm lean and in shape, I've been as big as 165. I've been heavier. I've been 205, but that was not a lean 205 at all. I've been 236, and that was just fat. That was just bad. I've been at 185, and 185 is not a lean 185 either. So, the point being, whenever I'm actually lean and in shape, I'm not very big. But also, like, I'm not on a shit ton of fucking drugs. Like, it's not the same. And I find it interesting. There's this Evil Genius GSP or something like that, Evil Genius Sports Performance or something, Broderick Chavez. And like, he makes posts that are like, very insulting. No matter how you're doing, you're still ahead of anyone who's natty. Or, anyone who's natty is stupid, or anyone who's natty is a loser, or whatever. And it's like, why is there so much hate? Why is there so much hate for guys who are drug-free? I don't understand that. So, you're this big juiced up dude, and you call other people names and you bully them, and like, I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why there's so much hate for guys who are natural. Conversely to this, though, I don't understand the natural guys that hate the guys who are on drugs. Listen, let me put it to you this way. As far as I'm concerned, raw powerlifting and geared powerlifting are two different sports. Like, raw powerlifting is a different sport than you wearing a squat suit. And as far as I'm concerned, tested powerlifting is a different sport than untested powerlifting. These are just different sports. There's no right or wrong here. Now, I do understand the guys who are drug-free that don't like the fake natties. I do get that. I don't like the dishonesty. So, if a certain individual, there's quite a few of them we can name, claims to be drug-free, and they're huge and clearly not drug-free. I totally understand why people don't like that, because people don't like dishonesty. You know, it's like if I lied to you and said to you, how to become a millionaire, and I didn't tell you the fact that, you know, my dad was a millionaire and I got all the money from him. You know, not that there's any influencer out there who claims to make $100 million and has a millionaire father. But, you know, just if that was the dishonesty, that's the problem. The problem isn't that I'm a millionaire. The problem isn't even my business advice is bad. It's the fact that I'm dishonest about it. How to gain 40 pounds of muscle in just 6 weeks. But I didn't tell you the truth about it. So, you know, I tell you, oh, I just followed this program and ate this diet. And then I left out the part where there's all these other things that are in there. That's lying. And so I totally understand why people don't like the dishonesty. But, you know, if Dave Tate says to me, yeah, I use steroids to, you know, squat 1,000 pounds or, you know, whatever, then I'm like, okay, like I can't hate you for that. Like you're an honest person. I remember listening to an interview with Mark Bell, and I can't remember the exact number, but he said something like he squatted 800 something drug free. And then after he started using drugs, that's how he got to a 1,200 pound squat. I can't hate you because you're honest. So like you didn't lie and say like I squatted 1,200 pounds drug free. Like no, and that's totally fine. And you know that's geared powerlifting. I believe he had like a squat suit and the knee wraps and all this stuff like that. But you know the point being, if people are honest, what's there to hate? And so I really don't understand this feud between the two groups, because as far as I'm concerned, they're different sports. It's like natural bodybuilding is a different sport than enhanced bodybuilding. You know, drug-free powerlifting is a different sport than the untested powerlifting. I don't see why this shouldn't be an issue. But you know, there definitely is a hatred of these guys who are enhanced. They hate the guys who are drug-free, and I don't understand why. And I've had people make comments to me, and they're very, very angry at me, and it's like, okay, and they're like, I'm bigger than you, and it's like, well, you should be bigger than me. Like, if you weren't bigger than me, then why would you be taking these drugs that are damaging your health? Like, if you're not getting anything out of them, why are you taking them? And that's another thing, you know, you hear guys say, oh, the drugs don't help. And it's like, well, then why the hell would you take them? Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so anyways, that's my thoughts on this. I don't understand the hate. I really don't. I understand if people are upset because, you know, some guy has this name that rhymes with Bike O'Mern, you know, claims to be drug-free, and people don't like that because, you know, it just seems like he's lying. You know, I appreciate that. I understand why people are bothered by things like that if someone's lying. But, you know, if Chris Bumstead says to you, yes, I use this, and he admits to using drugs, like, you don't hate Chris Bumstead for doing what he does. He's not claiming to be drug-free. You know, it's not like, you know, Ronnie Coleman doesn't claim, like, I'm completely lifetime drug-free. Like, doesn't happen. And so I understand why people hate dishonesty, but I don't understand the feud, especially in the other direction, where guys who are using drugs hate guys who are drug-free. That does not make any sense to me. What do you care what someone else does? And speaking of this, like, I don't care what you do. I don't drink alcohol, ever. I have not had alcohol since 2005. I don't drink alcohol, but I don't judge you if you do. Have a beer, enjoy one. If you like drinking alcohol, have a beer, have some wine. It doesn't matter. I make wine. I don't drink it. I just make it because I like the chemistry of it. And it's something that my family did, and it's something I used to do with my dad. But I don't drink. I also don't care if you smoke. I don't have a problem with that. You dip, you chew. I don't have a problem with that. I don't care. You know, what is it to me? It's nothing to me. So, like, why do we judge people in either direction? So, like, do you judge me for not drinking? I would not appreciate that. I would look at you and be like, well, what do you have a problem with whether or not I drink? But I have had people do that. People act like something's wrong with you. If I tell people I don't drink alcohol, they're like, why not? Because I just don't want to. I don't like the way it feels. I don't feel good when I drink alcohol, so I don't drink alcohol. I don't like the smell of cigarettes, so I don't smoke cigarettes. I think they smell really bad. Every time someone lights one, I'm like, that smells awful. I don't like the smell. Cigars. I don't like the smell of cigars either. Not my thing. But if you like it, that's totally fine. Hey, flip side to this whole thing, completely stupid. I really like hot food, like spicy food, like ghost peppers. Man, I love ghost peppers. They're like 1,000,000 Scoville units. That's fantastic. I think that's delicious. Everyone else tells me that it tastes awful. Everyone's like, oh my God, that's too hot. And I'm like, nah, this is good. I love it. Okay. But like, I don't get mad at people for not eating ghost peppers or Carolina Reapers. It's a bizarre thing. So anyways, I don't understand this feud. I don't understand the anger. And I don't think it's warranted. And it's certainly never warranted to assault someone over it.